Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician, and today I went to work, stepped out of my truck, stepped right into a nice fresh grass log, aka a goose turd. But more importantly, we're going to be going into the Amazon deals for the week. These are going to be tools that are either on sale, tools that even at their full price or list price I believe to be good deals, or tools I find interesting and would like your guys' input on if you guys have used them. I also have two additional links down in the description that will take you to a long list of tools that I've either went over in the past or other tools that I suggest, so that's all there for you guys. First up, we're looking at a Klein Tools flip socket set. So recently, within the last 2 months, I've picked up the mod box, and I have a couple different ones that I use in my work truck on a daily basis. And this is one of them that I've really wanted just because I need to have a socket set, but I don't need a huge socket set. I need something that's very compact and versatile. This is one of them that I was considering, but I couldn't get past the price of these. But the more I look at them, I understand why the price is there and what it's at, but it's just hard for me because I know I can get like a whole 1/4-inch drive socket set or almost a full 3/8 drive socket set of a pretty dang good quality for around this price. So to just get a very small compact set for that price, it's very hard for me to base it off of that logic. But when you look at it as like a flip socket set comparison, if you look at many other flip socket sets, there are small sets that run, $40, $50, and that's just going to be like 4 or 5 flip sockets, and sometimes even more expensive. And I want to go with something name brand, not something, that won't exist here in 6 months. So this is one that I've looked at multiple times. I just haven't pulled the trigger on. I want your guys' input on this. I definitely think it's a very interesting set. I like the assortment that's included with it. I like its setup, its layout, really nice. I like Klein tools, and this would obviously work well with the mod box because this is one of the mod box accessories. This is their 20-piece flip socket set. This is going to include SAE and metric. It's going to include 2 extensions for an impact driver, and then also an extension for using it with a ratchet or a small impact. But it is at $100, and with Klein tools, you don't see them go on sale very often. That is one thing I like to mention on these Amazon videos. If it's something that I'm mentioning at full price, it's either really good at that full price or it's something that you can commonly find on sale. Klein tools, not so much. Maybe some of their single drivers and stuff you'll find on sale, but when it comes to 85% of their stuff, you hardly ever catch it on sale. And the mod box stuff I have yet to see over the last few months on sale, none of it. So unfortunately, this is what it is as of right now. This does have 4.4 stars at 4 ratings, so not rated a whole lot yet. This is going to include 1/4-inch and 3/8, and just to kind of show you a better image of it. So yeah, here are the actual sizes for the metric. It is 16 and 18, so you're missing 17 and 19, which I would like to see more of the coverage on the metric. But then again, Klein is more geared towards, contract work, electrical, HVAC, that type of work. So those occupations do come across SAE much more than they do metric. This isn't really geared specifically towards an automotive type of job. So I do like how it includes both SAE and metric, but I wish it did have a little bit better coverage for the metric side of things. 6 smaller sockets, 1/4-inch to 9/16, and 8 to 14 millimeter are stackable on the one extension. If it was even around the $70 or $80 price range, I think it would be a really good deal, but $100 is really pushing it, even though when it comes to a flip socket set of this size, and obviously it's designed for the adaptability with the mod box. So here we have another flip socket set from Klein Tools. This is 5 flip sockets and then a couple of adapters for $50. And then you got this one that is also designed for the mod box, basically a smaller version of what we were looking at up above. It's $50. I'd be perfectly happy with that, but then I'm missing out on basically half the sockets of what's available in this set that we have here. So I'll still have this link down in the description, but please let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Is this something you would consider or not? Next up is going to be a product from Gearwrench. I am going to show you another brand, but this is going to be a socket set for oil canisters or oil filter. And you find these a lot on like Mercedes and Volkswagen and like Chevy with the Ecotechs. They have the filter canister. Actually, a lot of manufacturers use that style now, where it's actually built into the top end, and using a standard 32 millimeter socket, even a shallow, it's too tall. You don't have enough room to actually get in there, get on it, and be able to remove it. So it requires something like this. And there are a couple tools that you can use to get by, but if this is something that you're going to be working on fairly often, having a set like this, like when I had my 2012 Malibu, this was just something I needed to have. I wasn't going to mutilate the top cap of that thing for the entire life that I owned it. Especially for $30, you get this 6-piece set. It's going to include 24, 27, 29, 32, 36, and 38 millimeter. So it's going to cover a wide variety of different vehicles that use this type of filter that require a socket like this. And I think for not on sale, $31.35, I think that's a decent deal. Not bad at all. It's got 4.8 stars at 1,799 ratings. But this is not actually the one that I went with. I do want to show you guys the one that I went with, and I haven't had any issues with it. But keep in mind that the set that I purchased is only used here at home. I think it would hold up just fine in the professional field. Normally, you're not putting a whole lot of torque on these filter cartridges or canisters, so that's not the deal. A lot of the times they're plastic, so you definitely don't want to apply too much torque. So I think this next set that I show you would hold up in the professional field as well, but I don't think this is a bad set at all. 6 pieces, just under $32. I think it's worth considering if you deal with any vehicle with that type of filter. I actually went with the ABN oil filter cap wrench set. This is a 7-piece set, and it's going to range from 24 to 38 millimeter. And there you can see it actually states this is common on BMWs, Mercedes, Volkswagens, and many others, not just those. And it comes in this nice little, case. And I actually kept mine in this case for, I don't know, probably 6 years before I ended up moving it to a rail system. But the case is actually really nice. The lid does pop off, and you can just use it as an organizer if you have the room. It obviously keeps them organized nicely. They're close together, so they don't take up a whole lot of room. If you put these on a rail, they're going to take up just as much room just because of the size of the sockets. They're going to be pretty spread out. But this one is at $25, not on sale, so a little bit of savings there, about $6, $7. And this has 4.7 stars at 1,102 ratings. So there you can see it a little bit better. The 30 millimeter socket is going to be the one that you receive in this kit that you don't get in the Gearwrench set. So I think for an additional piece and a savings of $6, $7, I think it's a good deal. Like I said, I've had this set 8 years now and haven't had any issues. Now, once again, it's just used here at home. I've probably only used them, I don't know, maybe 30 times. They've held up well. But even in the professional field, like I said, as long as you're using them for those cartridge filters, you're not going to have an issue with them. If you have to use it on something that requires a lot of torque for some reason, maybe you're working on something where you need a shallow socket like this, but a large socket, these aren't just for cartridges. You will find yourself, especially in the professional field, working in awkward situations where you might come across a situation where this could be handy outside of that cartridge situation. So I think they'll hold up just fine. I don't have any complaints about the quality or anything of them. Definitely not a tool for everybody, especially if you're a weekend warrior DIYer. But if you're a weekend warrior DIYer and you own a vehicle that does have that, and maybe you're trying to use an adjustable wrench, the problem is a lot of the times you don't have a lot of room down there for a wrench to fit. So you either have to have something small but large. You're kind of working at an awkward angle. This just makes things extremely easy, and I think it's a very affordable, good product to own. So that's next up on the list. Next up are these Automotive resettable fuses. Now, these can be extremely handy in like diagnosis. I know a lot of people will run these just because it is a lot easier to just be able to reset a fuse instead of having to keep a bunch of fuses on hand. But if you're installing this because you have like a circuit that constantly keeps blowing fuses, this isn't your solution. You should diagnose and see what's wrong with the circuit to prevent it from blowing the fuses first, and then installing these can be really handy. It saves you money in the long run. You don't have to worry about replacing fuses. But this can be really handy in diagnosis, because if you have something that keeps blowing fuses, instead of putting a new fuse in it and then trying to track down where the issue is, doing it again, putting a new fuse in, this allows you to put the fuse in, get the circuit operating, and when it pops, you can simply reset it and then go back to diagnosis. It's just one step in a process of electrical diagnosis that could be handy, but I just wanted to mention that this is a good tool for kind of the diagnosis side of a circuit, but also a handy thing to have if you don't want to be replacing fuses in the future. Like when I outfitted my Camaro, I redid all of the electrical on it. I installed not just fuse, circuit break, or resettable fuses like this, but I also did a lot of circuit breakers instead of inline fuses and stuff like that, which makes things a lot nicer, cleaner, and operation wise it's just much easier to work with. And I know all of the wiring inside of the vehicle, so I know it's just really handy. And this is $20. You get a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 amp fuse. You can buy them in just like 10 amp kits or 5 amp kits or 15, this is just the assortment for $20. And I figured it was worth mentioning. This has 4.7 stars at 138 ratings. There are other brands available. This is just one that I saw that was priced pretty reasonable, and wanted to mention kind of the two sides of using this, whether you're using it just as a fuse or if you want to use them for diagnosis purposes so you don't have to run through fuses. There's this option. And then last up, I just wanted to mention this Endoscope camera. These have become very popular and affordable in the last 5 years. Beyond 5 years ago, it definitely wasn't as easy to find an endoscope or borescope, especially an affordable one and one that wasn't complete junk. But they've become much more popular, and like I've owned 3, I still have 2. I don't have any that connect to my phone. I just have handheld units, and they have saved my butt multiple occasions. This one has a lot of good reviews. This one has 4.3 stars at 3,291 ratings, and is at $24, down from a typical price of $31, so a good deal off of the typical price. And then you also have a coupon here for an additional $3 off, so $21 for this. You got 8 adjustable LED light settings. It's 16.4 feet long, semi-rigid, so it's very flexible, kind of holds its position wherever you need it to. The camera is 7.9 millimeter. It's IP67 waterproof. Some of them are larger, so you won't, if you're using it as like a borescope, you may not be able to fit it down like the bore of a 22 or something along those lines. Knowing what the diameter is of this with that ring off is key if you're using it for that type of situation. And then here you got a mirror, a hook, and a magnet tool along with it. And then this one does have the lightning connector, come in different colors. I don't know what that's all about, but you can get it for Android and iOS, both very affordable. And this is for those out there that want to have something like this on hand without breaking the bank, because the 2 handhelds that I have were both over $100 each. Some of the handhelds you might be able to find for like $60 to $80, but other than that, they can still be quite expensive, especially for somebody that doesn't know if they're going to get really a lot of use out of it. But just being able to have something like this on hand for only $20, I think that's great for anybody. So this is definitely something to consider, especially for $20. But as you can see, they're all, they're either $20 for these phone ones, or you get up to about $60 to $150 for the handheld ones. And I personally do not have experience with this specific one. I just wanted to show you guys this is a tool that can be handy to have on hand. This one is affordable. There are other brands out there that are affordable and include the same kind of setup. There you can kind of see the different tips attached to it. Just something, if you don't already have, to consider picking up. And it's not just for automotive. It can be great for many, many different situations. So that is the last item on today's list. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, all of these items will have their own independent link down in the description for you guys, and then those 2 additional links will be there to a long list of tools that I've went over in the past. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.